Hi, I'm August Keller, and this is my review of Hitman. So, my score might be a little on the lower side of average. I think it's close to the general consensus. There's a lot of hype around this movie. I like it, but I do think maybe because I value technical aspects more than the average reviewer, I am finding myself a little less excited about it than others. But let's start with the emotional aspect, which is what this movie is getting a lot of excitement for. It's well done. The story and the acting is all well done, and that's what most people focus on. The plot and drama are very intertwined. They're almost one and the same. It's a very plot heavy movie. There's a lot of plot twists. There's a lot of shifting conflicts. A lot of romance, kind of like twisted romance. A lot of motivation, entanglement, setup and payoff, and it's all kind of centered around these like battle of wits. But it's not too much. It doesn't feel like too much because it does a good balance of thrills and slowing down to kind of contemplate what's going on, the meaning that might be behind all this. The script does a good job connecting themes like identity, change, passion, subjectivity, and social performance, just how we put masks on when we're around our fellow humans. So it still feels like light entertainment though. And that's because it's really focused on a character study. And that character study is kind of interesting because it's not really art. He doesn't really arc in a conventional sense. It's more like he finds inner layers. They kind of just become more revealed. So um, some might say that there's lacking vulnerability, lacking intensity, lacking challenge or stakes. He never really seems to be distressed. I mean, there's a lot of distressing things going on, but the character always kind of continually is just coming into his own. It's almost like a coming of age movie, even though it's about an adult. So, anyway, some people might find all that to be kind of lacking in intensity or tension, or maybe it even kind of undercuts the depth a little bit because the movie does kind of stick to this like dark humor kind of tone. I think it's a give and take with that. It's it's very enjoyable and light and breezy and fun. It's the kind of movie that you can get a lot out of if you pay attention to, or just kind of chill with and not necessarily focus on, and still get a lot of entertainment value out of. Meanwhile, the acting is really fun too. There's a lot of characters within characters. The chemistry is really dynamite, and um, there's a lot of natural charm. It's just a very charismatic movie. Um, Again, because I think there's not too much vulnerability, it's hard for me to go 10 out of 10 on any of these categories because it does feel kind of like it's more concerned with having fun than being too meaningful. There is meaning there. I don't mean to say there isn't meaning. It's a very psychological movie. It's referencing Nietzsche and um, Jung and Freud and stuff like that. It's contemplating psychology and consciousness and self and identity, like I've already said, but um, it doesn't want to get too heavy. So, anyways, all that is to say that Hitman is a fun psychological romp, and that's why people are gravitating to it. Technically, this is where I do think the movie is a little more slight. It's very proficient and it's well made. It's directed by Linklater, who's known for making these like hangout, meandering, kind of easy breezy, open ended kind of movies. And with a movie like Dazed and Confused, which is one of my favorite movies, or one of my top 100 or so, um, his approach is very fitting because that movie is very much about nostalgia. Same with Boyhood. You know, it's those are nostalgic movies by design, and this movie is a little more, you know, thriller. Um, and so his slight touch kind of feels a little his gentle soft touch feels a little slight to me. It feels a little like I wanted a little more from the text, but they're not bad. They're just kind of not flashy. So, anyways, the direction does a good job of unifying all these contrasting tones and genres. Like I said, it's like thriller, but also coming of age. It's dark comedy, but also um, noir. You know, it's all these things at once, and it really feels like one cohesive thing, which is cool. The cinematography isn't too exciting to me. There's minor movement, depth, angles, framing, but nothing that really stood out. The editing, I think, is a little on the stronger side. Like I said, it's a Linklater movie, so it feels very breezy and mellow, but also has this suspenseful momentum to it, which is almost kind of contradictory. But I think that's because there's really good pacing and there's really good structure. So it never feels hurried. It feels very leisurely, but it always keeps you engaged. It's just a very precise balance there. The sound design also is, I would say, fine. I only, as far as advanced sound design choices, there's voiceovers, there's some smash cuts, and there's a few distortions, but again, nothing too exciting. The music is very much upbeat jazz, which is a good fit for like the noir drama and also for like comedic juxtaposition. The production design also feels fairly basic. There's a lot of costume changes. The protagonist, he very much evolves, and his look is always changing depending on what kind of personality he's embodying, which is a nice touch. But other than that, I didn't really notice a whole lot. There's a few colors, I guess, but nothing that really stood out to me. Finally, though, the cast is probably what most people are going to be talking about. Glen Powell. If you don't think he's a star yet after seeing this, I think it's fairly certain that he is a star now. This role is, I wouldn't say daring, but is a little bit. It shows his range for sure, and it's almost kind of against type at the beginning. He plays kind of like this dork, and it's believable. So he really gets to stretch his legs as an actor here, have a lot of fun with it. It's not super dramatic yet. I'm waiting to see that from him, like an Oscar kind of role. I don't think this is quite that. It's very fun and it shows skill for sure. And he definitely is an excellent fit here. All that is to say, this is the casting here, specifically of Powell, is good. It makes the movie. I didn't really notice any other casting choices to be irreplaceable, but he is definitely the centerpiece, and it works really well. So, anyways, all that is to say that Hitman has mass appeal. I think it's the kind of movie that everyone can like. I don't know if everyone's going to love it. I didn't necessarily love it. I wanted to love it, and I'm close to loving it. Maybe I'll love it eventually. But I think you'd be hard pressed to find someone who doesn't like this movie. So that's all I have to say about that. Um, if you like what I'm doing here, please feel free to like and subscribe. You can also follow me on Instagram, which I'll have linked in the description. But at the very least, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.